Hello there, Barbara Ragsdale here, independent maker for close to my heart. And if you purchased the Gnomes for Spring Scrapbooking Workshop Kit, this is the video where we will be cutting the pattern paper. So all of the pattern paper that came in your kit, that's what we're going to be doing. If you're interested in any of these products, make sure to check out the event description and my online ordering link. I am recording this video today, March the 2nd, and as of right now, most of these products are unavailable because they are so popular. So make sure you bookmark my online website so that you can check back or just contact me and let me know if you need to know as soon as they're back available. I'm going to be beginning the first of the layouts that are part of this particular workshop kit tonight, March 2nd at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you'd like to join me on my YouTube channel or my Facebook page, those links are in the event description as well. And other than that, let's go ahead and get started. So the first piece that we're going to be cutting is going to be this piece right here. Okay, so you'll want to pull this piece. The flip side to that is this kind of circular image of all of these different sayings. So pull that piece out and then set all your other ones aside. I will tell you if you have any suggestions for future cutting videos, just leave me a comment in the comments and I'll check those out after the video. Also, I try to go slow enough so that if you're cutting along with me, you can do that. And then also, the downloadable, when you purchase the workshop kit, you'll be able to download the instructions. So what I'm doing today is a visual of the pattern paper instructions that you get from your guide. So you can always go back and refer to this. Get your stack started, I guess you could say, because I'll be calling out the alphabet and the number to tell you if it's project 1, 2, 3, or 4. And so you're going to have ultimately 4 stacks of whether it's pattern paper or cardstock paper, so that when you go to assemble each of the layouts, you have all your pieces together. Okay, so we're going to start with this particular sheet right here. And normally I go ahead and I cut off the zip strip. So this little 1/2-inch decorative piece, let's go ahead and cut that off. Yeah, let's go ahead and cut that off. I don't think the instructions tell you to cut it off. Why is it catching? There we go. But zip strips are always going to be usable. So we're just going to cut that off and set that aside. And then when it comes to directional, the instruction guides show that the pattern paper, when it's on the layout, is going to be going vertical. But in order to make it a little easier on the cutting part, I'm going to be turning it sideways to cut it. So just keep in mind when you use it, it's going to be applied a different direction, but we're going to be cutting it a little bit differently because I can't make long cuts this way because I'll be cutting into how it needs to show on your layout. Hopefully that makes sense. So take this piece of pattern paper and turn it to where the lines are going horizontal. And the first kit, I'm going to bring this a little bit closer so I can see it because those numbers can be a little bit tricky on my eyes sometimes. But the first cut that we're going to be doing, get that in your trimmer, is going to be 2 3/4 inches all the way down. Okay, now turn that piece to where your stripes are going up and down, portrait, and cut a piece at 8 3/4, or you can just cut it at 3 1/4. Let's do that. So I don't want to extend my arm right now. Cut it at 3 1/4. We'll be doing the second cut first. This piece right here is going to go for project number 2. So get you a little stack of 2s going. I'm just going to put those right in front of me, and then I can move them later if it gets to be a little bit out of control. This last piece right here should be 8 3/4 inches long. And let me just double check. 8 3/4 inches long, which it is. Yay. This is for P1. So project number 1. So get that in your stack of 1s. Now the paper that we had, let's get it back in our trimmer with our lines going landscape. And let's cut another one at 2 3/4 inches. And this piece that we just cut is for P2. So project number 2. So let's put that there. Take the same piece of paper, put it back in your trimmer with your lines going horizontal, and cut a 1/2 inch strip. Oops, that moved a little bit, but it did not shift. This piece is also for P2. So put that with your P2s. Your paper that you have left, what we're going to do is we're going to end up with some scraps, which is okay. Because I can't think of any other way to cut this. Let's cut a 2-inch strip. Either way you look at it, you're going to have scraps. So we're just going to do it this way. That 2-inch strip, turn it sideways. And I'm going to go ahead and extend my arm. If I can get it out. There we go. And you want to cut this piece at 9 1/2 inches. Okay. You could do the reverse of it, but sometimes it's easier just for me to extend my arm. The less math, the better, right? So this 9 1/2 strip is P4. So I'm going to put this over here off to my right and start a 4. This little piece right here is scrap. So just set that aside. And then we're going to do it again. So put your paper back in there and cut a 2-inch strip. Hopefully I am going slow enough if you are keeping up with me. Now keep in mind too, if you have another favorite paper that you would like to substitute, these are some really great layouts. So don't feel like you absolutely have to get this paper. I mean, it is gorgeous paper, don't get me wrong, but the layouts can be substituted for anything else that you might have if you like the layout and prefer a different type of paper. We're going to cut another one at 9 1/2 inches. Okay, so these are still going to be great videos to use going forward when it comes to if you like the layouts and you want to get all of the measurements. So this is also P4 as well. So put that with your 4. This little piece is scrap. Now, this piece that's left, we're going to put this in our trimmer with our lines going up and down, portrait, and we're going to cut at 3 1/2 inches. Okay, this piece that we just cut, turn it back to where your lines are horizontal, and we're going to cut, that's a 2-inch piece, we're going to cut that in half. So cut it at 1 inches, and then we're going to have 2 pieces that are 3 1/2 by 1. These 2 pieces go to P4. So put this with your project 4. The piece that's left, what we want to do is we're going to have a pretty big scrap out of this, but we need to cut another smaller little piece. And so we want to cut, let's cut it at 3 1/4 with your lines. Let me double check. I got turned around. P2, P2. Let me look at the picture so I can make sure I don't want to mess it up here. Okay, we're going to cut it at 3 1/4 with your lines going up and down, and then turn it sideways, that piece where your lines are going horizontal, and cut a piece at 1/2 inch. I'm pretty sure that is the right cut, and if it's not, you have plenty of scraps left over just in case, but I'm going to go double check just to make sure. P2, I'm looking for a small piece. Yeah, that's right. So that's right. This goes to P2. Okay. And the rest of these little pieces right here, these are scraps, but I will tell you this larger scrap, the smaller scrap is scrap. This piece right here is also for P2, but you're going to be using it for one of the die cuts. And I didn't pull the loose die cuts out. I guess I could get it. Let me see if I can grab it really quick. It should be right here. Didn't open them, but I will tell you, out of the large die cuts, it is going to be, you're going to be die cutting this particular piece out, okay, using this scrap. And it's going to be going essentially that way. So it's got plenty of room to cover that particular die cut. Now, I think what I'll do is go ahead and take it out because I'll end up forgetting later. And so let me go ahead and put this with P2. If this piece uses another piece, I'll just notate that later when we're cutting. So I'm going to put that thin cut with that piece and put that with my P2. Okay. Also, there was two pieces, the 9.5 by 2 that were on P2. I'm sorry, it was on P4. These two pieces right here that we cut, I forgot to tell you, this was the only piece, the only pieces on this paper that when you go to apply it, you're actually going to be using that side. Okay, I forgot to tell you, this is the back side that you'll be using for P4, but the cut is the same. You're just going to be using the flip. And when we go to put this together, I'll point that out as well. So no worries about that. The cut is correct. The next piece we're going to be cutting is your cloud paper. Okay, so your cloud paper. So let's go ahead and cut that zip strip off, that 1/2 inch zip strip. I'm loving zip strips because they are totally usable pieces. And let's just put that aside. And same thing with the clouds. We're going to be cutting it just a little bit different. The orientation is where the clouds are going horizontal. So your first cut, let's go ahead and get that in your trimmer. And your first cut's going to be at 4 inches. This 4 by 12 piece is for P3. So put this with your P3 stack. And now we're going to be cutting it a little bit different. So your paper that's left, turn it to where your clouds are going portrait. And your first cut is going to be at 8 inches. So 8 inches. Let me double check. I'm sorry, it's going to be 9 inches. 9 inches. Hopefully you did not cut that. And if you did, I'm so sorry. 9 inches. I wanted to double check. 9 inches. I would always suggest waiting just in case I end up having like, wait a minute, hold on. So this piece is 8 by 9 inches long. This is for P3. So that goes in your set of threes. I'm gonna start getting into my stacks there. This piece that's left, keep it in your trimmer with your clouds going portrait. And we're going to cut, we're going to have scraps either way. So let's do this. Put it in your trimmer where your clouds are going horizontal, kind of normal, and cut a 5.5 inch strip. Like I said, we're going to have scraps either way. This little piece that got cut off, that is scrap. So you can put that to the side. This piece that's in your trimmer, flip it to where your clouds are portrait and cut a 1 inch strip. We're going to cut 2 of them. So 1 inch and 1 inch. Get that straight. So these two pieces that we cut off that are 5.5 inches by 1 inch, these are for P4. So put that with your P4s, and this piece that's left is scrap. Now, the next one we're going to be cutting is, it's going to be the clouds again, and we're going to be cutting on this particular sheet. So let's go ahead and cut our zip strip off. Hopefully I am going slow enough for you to keep up with me. I don't think I'm going fast. I'm trying to pace myself here. And the orientation for this is also going to be where we're cutting this with our clouds going horizontal. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim this down to 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. So we want to take off 3/4 of an inch. So cut it at 3/4 on the left, and then flip it around and cut off 3/4 from the bottom or top, wherever you want to cut it off. I'm just going to cut it from the top where the zip strip was. These two pieces that I cut off, those are scrap. And so now you have left a piece that is 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. This piece right here goes to P1, so project 1. So I'm going to stand that up over there. And then now we're on to our next sheet, which is going to be this particular piece right here. So this one that has all of the potted plants, the trees, the snails, the flowers, the clouds, that particular piece right there. The flip side to that is the one that has the gnomes on it. Okay, but we're going to be cutting this one. So go ahead and touch your zip strip off. Exactly half an inch. Set that to the side. And then our cutting orientation is as you see it here, with everything going right side up. This one is so easy, you guys, so easy. This one is going to be an 8-inch cut. So cut it right down at 8 inches. This 8 by 12 piece that we just cut, that is for P2. Okay, so put that with your stack of 2s, and this piece that's left is scrap. That's a nice big scrap. All right, now we are on to page number 3 in our cutting guide. And actually that leads us to cardstock. So we are done. That was easy. I thought there was going to be another page because there's extra paper left over. There's 2 sheets of pattern paper left over, and I printed everything that was supposed to be done. I did see one more way back here. Normally the zip strips are at the top, but this one they put at the back. So our zip strips, which are, let's see. Why do I have 2 pieces? I'm not missing anything. There's 1, 2, 3, and then it goes to page 3. I seem to be, I know this sounds terribly confusing, you guys. So on the last page here, on page 5, it says there's 2 zip strips. We cut one of them. One of them goes to L2. So go ahead and put that whole 12-inch piece of zip strip in L2. But then there's another one that says L4 with that same zip strip. So what I'm going to do is take the other piece of paper. I have 2 pieces of paper left over. I've got this piece and I have this piece. And it says the other 12-inch zip strip goes to L4. So let's go ahead and cut that. Let's cut that off and use that. It looks like there's just extra paper left over, which is nice. It's a nice little bonus, right? And this says L4, so put that with your stack of 4s. And then I'm going to put this back with my regular pattern paper. And if for some reason those 2 pieces need to be cut, which it doesn't look like it needs to be, I've cut everything based on the cutting guide. I will do a separate small little video, so make sure you look in the playlist for that. But other than that, we've got these zip strips that the instructions don't have any instructions for where they go, but They are totally usable. So keep these aside in with your scraps just in case. And if after we put together all of the layouts, there very well could be something missing from the instructions. So don't use these just yet. So put these with your scraps and just keep in mind that we might need to use those as well as the other two pieces. But based on the cutting guide, we've cut all of the paper as directed, essentially. And then the next video is going to be for cardstock. So I will see you in the next video.